SonarFeed! Woo!
Get with it, soldiers! You need to be here for episode 244, another damn bye week! I'm Dave! I'm your host!
What just happened?
Is that Drill Sergeant Dave?
Kinda.
I mean, we'll take it.
Wrestling Dave,
Yeah, I was
maybe?
about to say Macho Man Dave.
New character. New character.
I never pulled that one off.
Can we workshop that one a little?
I gave it one rehearsal. Don't vouch. I did something remotely similar
Ish.
earlier. It was bad.
Cool.
Maybe not that bad. I'm Dave at Better Than, here on SonarFeed, episode 244, another damn bye week.
My turn. Yes. Hello, everybody. Mickey Turner, Turn ESQ on the Twitters.
On the Twitters. And just so everyone knows, expect more of Mickey Turner because he has maybe unwittingly agreed to join the rotating co-hosts on
Nobody
this show.
expects the Mickey Turner.
So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, as
Thrilled
always.
to have you. Tom Biro, a.k.a. Bougie Hooli, and to my right...
Adam, a.k.a. Weigel.
Wow, cool. Thanks.
I did that in 2 words.
Yeah.
Unless you count a.k.a.
That
as
was
words.
super impressive.
I've been
super impressive.
workshopping that all week.
So we're back outside-ish. So we're outside. The kitchen is also outside with us. But the Berliner...
Downtown Renton, 3rd and Main.
Head of the curve.
I did it
has
backwards, but thank you.
allowed us to take back on the upper patio while they finish up their construction. And in the next week or two, I think the kitchen situation is going to be pretty damn epic because I went inside to get our gear earlier and was super confused when all of a sudden there was like a new area full of freezers and whatnot where we normally put all our stuff. So there's some cool things happening at Berliner, which is awesome.
Have any of you ever done a remodel?
Yes.
Because when we did our remodel, it went quite like this. We have a 3-week plan for the remodel, and like 6 months later, the remodel was done. And that's kind of what happened here at the Berliner. It was originally like a 3-day plan.
It's cool,
And
though.
now we're on week 4.
They'll make it work.
Yeah.
Not going to stress.
No.
So, not a lot of Sounders first team things necessarily to talk about. There's some rumors and, like, there's probably 50 new injuries since we prepped for the show earlier today. But there's some, there's a little bit of S2 we can talk about. I think there's some other MLS things that happened because while Sounders were off, this past weekend, other teams played, including some interesting action from Montreal earlier today, which we will discuss maybe at length, depending on how bored we are. So we can dig in on that. We can prep the amazing home and home series with the vaunted Real Salt Lake coming up this weekend and next, among a few other things. So, Adam, what do you want to talk about first?
I think we should just go right into SonarFeed reads tweets.
You just want to get in?
I do.
Is this because you want to do goofy shit on the internet?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Maybe.
So we're going to go into Adam's favorite segment.
And everybody else's. SonarFeed
Give this stinger.
reads
Yeah.
tweets. So our first one is it's in French.
So you're gonna read it.
I'm going to read it because I am well versed in the French accent. It says 42 minutes result at Carton Juana Patreso et Carton Rouge à Zlatan.
This is fluent.
So we're just going to go with
Tesla bienvenue Zlatan.
So
And
what is,
that
did you figure
directly
that last
translate the IMFC hashtag. I don't know how to say hashtag in French.
part? Just say hashtag.
And that directly translates to 42 score, yellow card in Patreso, and red card in Zlatan. You're welcome, Zlatan. You're welcome. You know what I got next?
I do enjoy this. You're welcome.
This is why he slapped the guy. Did you
Some
watch
quality moves. Dave, have you not seen this?
I've seen it. Yes.
How many times did you see it? Did you see
Four.
the moment that they both hit the ground at the same time?
The synchronized diving.
And no one really understands why or how that happened, other than some weird synchronicity in the universe.
Zlatan has a gold medal in synchronized diving already. Ask him.
He is magical.
Yeah.
Or that's what he told.
Like how he went down was like, dude, wait, what? Like they stomped on your foot, so your head hurts.
Do you think that they both just went down literally to get the attention of?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's all it was, right?
They were just trying to get the call.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to show everybody the remix?
Yeah. So I made a little remix. It's my favorite.
Adam was super bored before the show
I didn't put it to music. I should have put it to music.
and just created this interesting little slap thing that's happening. So, yeah, it was today. John asks in the chat. And by the way, hello, fam that are in the chat right now, hanging out. Folks that are in the house here at the Berliner. Why again,
folks.
Dave, were they playing
I'm just
today
gonna this-
in Montreal?
Depending on what part of Canada you talk to, it's either Patriots Day or Victoria Day, or fuck you, it's not a holiday. In the Atlantic provinces, they don't celebrate it, but it's a celebration of Queen Victoria or French patriotism. Or
Was that one of those, like, the rest of Canada had a holiday, and then Quebec was like, we'll also have a holiday on the same day, but it'll be
about
totally
French stuff.
different?
Yes.
That sounds about right.
And then the Maritime provinces and the Atlantic provinces, the reason why they don't have it is because when the holiday started, they were still part... Because, like, they've only been part of Canada for, like, 40 years. So they're like, we don't have that holiday.
Like, we have other things to do.
We have sheep to farm, fishing villages to discover.
There's lobster out that way, man.
Yeah, so
to
today was
do.
a holiday in Canada, and Quebec asked...
So hence the 3 p.m. Eastern start.
Yeah, I mean...
Like, I looked yesterday, I was just scrolling through Sunday games, and sometimes they're, like, exactly perfect. It's, like, 1 p.m., 3 p.m., 5 p.m., and it was, like, 1 p.m., 4 p.m., and I'm like, no! What am I going to do in that time? And then I was like, what is this Monday noon Pacific kick? And why do I care?
So, I mean, it's kind of like Boston has it on Patriots Day.
Right. So, like 11 a.m. Red Sox game?
Celebrate the region.
Thank you.
And so Montreal, and that one's me, and all the way over to Adam. So it's kind of a cool
Thank
thing.
you.
I kind of hope they do it. I mean, it'd be cool if eventually the Sounders actually had like something planned around Seafair.
Yeah.
Open up like, because they sell a huge amount of group tickets during Seafair. Because that start of Seafair, when the ships arrive, like when the fleet gets back into the area, you'll see there are hundreds of sailors in the stadium that day. Make it an actual thing, as opposed to just discounts for the sailors. Make it a like celebration of Seafair and have it be a bigger deal. That'd be kind of cool. Montreal decided to do something kind of cool, and
It's a packed crowd.
They got a great crowd. It's bad for the Galaxy. Win-win.
Well, except for the Galaxy winning.
Well, I mean, they won, but they look like ass, and now they don't have Zlatan for their next match or two. I'm okay with that. Did you see their center back play today?
Yeah.
I did
Am I
watch
able-
a short video clip
Does Adam have that ready? Or
that
am
I
talking?
I don't
No.
think he has it, but it's wonderful, and it looked like they may have had 2 defenders, and while that's not terribly out of character for a lot of teams that'll send the outside backs up, they couldn't even make Bingham is their keeper?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. They couldn't even make the 2 central defenders and Bingham thing for like a switch in slow motion work properly, which was
They
kind
felt
of
like
awkward.
They acted as if they were under like heavy pressure when a lone forward was within 20 yards of them. Like, oh my god, I got to pass, and it'd just be this randomly all over the place. Like, I'm going to send it up the line right to a Montreal player.
Yeah, considering how much they spent on their center backs and their defense. It's
All of the
amazing
money.
how awful they are. And makes me happy that we have the center backs we have here.
Well, they spent the
currently.
most, and Seattle spent like the third most. One of them spent a lot better on their defense than the other, because for all the troubles we have here, the defense is still really
Defense
good.
is
Yeah.
pretty good. You're like, oh, Kim, that guy's okay. Yeah. Oh, Chad Marshall, decent player who, yes. Roman Torres, not even playing. You're still like, I'm super cool with it. It's great.
Or like,
Or you could look like a dumpster fire on the back line in L.A.
even Jordy DeLem and Tony Alfaro played minutes at center back this year, and you're talking about, heck, last year when we had fifth and sixth center backs was when there were those 3 straight road games with losses by 3 goals in a row.
Yeah.
And this year, even those guys are looking okay. Like,
Yeah.
so it's just good. Like, the defense is fine.
So that was a good time on the tweets.
Well-
and then
Well, there's a couple other things
Do you have
going on.
more things you
well,
wanna
yeah,
share?
I mean, just as you guys probably recognize, we don't have all of our regular crew here, and it's because Hugo's out doing his civic duty.
He runs Burien now.
Yeah,
Here he
he's
is right now,
standing up for
tonight.
the community
in Burien.
Yep,
he is
exactly.
killing it in Burien.
He really is.
yeah.
Did you put him
Super-
on the screen?
Yeah,
We did.
Super proud of our friend Hugo.
Who else?
Oh,
Who else
Mark.
is not doing
Mark's at home watching hummingbirds.
That's
Literally
quite,
watching
as
hummingbirds.
impressive as Hugo.
And then he's like, when they're done, they just go bye and dart off. Thanks, Mark,
We love you.
for that insight.
Thought provoking.
Mark is just killing it right now in Portage Bay.
Ask me how Mark did with his pub league team that I sponsor this week.
How did Mark
did he
do on Pub
Did
League?
very well because he didn't show.
Wow, he didn't break anything.
That's an excellent plus minus.
Do you want to share what you got in front of you?
I'm wearing it too.
Yeah.
I sponsored a pub league team, ECS Pub League, where it's supposed to be all about the fun. Although I think a couple of the teams are actually like semi like competitive and get involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are 7 teams in pub league now, 4 in the Premier Division and 3 in the Classic. I sponsored a Premier team. How did I get a Premier team? I said, Max, I want to sponsor a team, and Max said, this is the team you're sponsoring. It was very complicated. So it was pretty cool because I looked at some of the other sponsors. Temple Billiards, who many of us up here are big fans of, sponsored a team. A 21st Century Realty office sponsored a team. I'm forgetting one from Premier League.
Let's see here. Century 21, BCL, the nonprofit.
B Seattle, the nonprofit, they have a like somebody like the screaming emoji kind of. Yeah. And I didn't see the other 2 at all.
Flat stick, and then one of the public members.
Max is off camera
Yeah,
without
he's
a
giving us
microphone, and I'm
information
talking
right
to him
now.
right now.
That's Robert Airplane Company that he's doing, but then his wife made him do their dog.
It is a pretty cool kit.
It is.
Well, I'll be honest, like, I didn't do the Sounder at Heart logo. I did the Leviathan, and people were like, why? And I'm like, because it was
Because it
my
looks
choice.
cool.
Yeah, and then the last one's Mexican photography.
If you didn't hear that, he said Max Aquino Photography is also a sponsor.
The corporate overlord you can trust.
Max is also a photographer at Sounder at Heart, as well as running Pub League. He plays on my team, although he also didn't show. His excuses were valid. Mark.
Doing ballet.
Wasn't it like the day after your birthday? Yeah.
May
So
birthday-
you
May birthdays are
birthdayed and then
awesome.
did ballet? That's amazing. I don't even know where to go with that.
Pretty good so far.
Good for you. That's awesome.
By the way, Max, I think I ordered a different number.
A what? Did you?
I think I said 37.
All right, let me check.
Do you know what you're probably not going to get?
A new number.
That.
Yes.
There's probably tape around here somewhere, though. We could doctor
People
that
are like,
up for
why
you.
34? And I'm like, John Kennedy Hurtado?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's probably okay. Got it.
I was trying to make a Clerks
Score.
reference.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so let's see. That's what I did this weekend.
Why 37?
In a row.
Huh?
Just go with it.
Somebody. It was a question.
If you explain a Clerks joke, it is even worse than it was.
It is. It's like sweetbreads. If you have to ask,
What's a
you
sweetbread?
don't want them.
Like corn with sugar?
No. What? Are you even talking right now? Corn with sugar. Ugh. I'm aghast at your comments, David.
Tom and I used all of our good material during the pre-show.
That's true.
If you got here early, you would have seen Tom and I argue about
Also,
the Sounders.
Saturday. We did argue about Sounders. We could argue again.
Let's
We didn't
recreate
argue
it.
much on Saturday.
We didn't argue, but we did use good material.
Talked a lot about S2, but I don't think we want most of that on the air.
Dave told one of the best social media stories I legit have ever heard since the invention of social media. And it might not be close. And it's not like some weird fucked up stalker thing. It's like a legit good story.
Oh, yeah, we're not doing that one on the air.
No, we're not. But like it
Ask
could
me
be
afterwards, it's good.
it could be like a sitcom.
It would if Seinfeld existed today,
Yeah.
it would be a Seinfeld
Like
episode.
if you watch Curb
Very intrigued
or
now.
have watched Seinfeld or watch Atlanta, like the great kind of commonality between those shows is they have this like awkwardness or like situations that you can put yourself in and you're like, I kind of want to just cringe. Like I got to pause the show and just walk out of the room for a minute. Like this is so bad because you believe the characters. Like
Secondhand
you love the
embarrassment.
characters. Yeah. Like you feel it for a moment. You're like, I've done 1% of that and it was the worst day of my entire life. And this has like that level of awkward. And Dave's telling this story. And like if you read things that Dave says or you listen to Dave on this show, he has a great way of telling the story 360. And like there's color and the other people are involved. And I was just like standing there listening to Dave talk. And I'm just like, wait, this happened in real life? And it was so good. And we're not going to tell you the story on the internet. So, teaser. You should have come down
That's
to
why
the
you gotta come
bar.
down.
If you had come to the Berliner in downtown Renton,
Ahead of the curve.
you could hear the story.
When?
I don't know. At some point.
'Kay.
Do you want to talk about the debate between like top knot or like back of the head knot thing?
I don't think I have enough
You don't think you can do
A,
it?
hair, and B, information to fulfill a debate.
So is it just a hat thing for you tonight?
What do
You
you
were just
mean?
going for the no hat. This
Yeah.
is cooler.
It's hot. Literally, it is cooler.
It is.
Yeah,
True.
it's the hat. Has
You
been
could get
too
one of those
warm.
vented tennis hats, though.
Yeah, that would look awesome.
Yeah,
I just get the the open and just have my hair coming out like that.
you could do that.
No.
That would be awesome.
You could get one of those hats with like the fake hair from
Top Knot
Isekai,
Adam is what I
the
wanna see.
Diners, drive-in.
Let's see if we can do it.
Drive-ins, whatever his name is. The Guy Fieri.
Guy Fieri.
But like the fake Guy Fieri hat things. You ever seen the visors with like the fake
Yeah.
tips? You could all look like Justin Timberlake back in the day. No, I'm losing you all right
Absolutely
now.
awful.
So we're gonna move on.
Look to your right.
Yeah.
You're doing it. It's gonna work. I'm telling you. You might need a smaller rubber
I'm
band.
letting Casey know how you look in a top knot.
I look amazing.
Exactly.
By the way, if you're not paying attention to the chat, John Worthington has a GA for this weekend that needs a good home. So
back here.
wow, second. I'm so lost. I don't even know where to go from here. Where do we go from here? Mickey, you're the voice of reason. What do we talk about next?
What's going on in the law world?
Oh, there's not much going on at the moment. People don't want to talk to me at the moment, unfortunately. I was trying to dig and get some information on the NASL.
But you actually
fund
did get information.
Yes, I did. what's going on? So NASL, everyone knows about Rocco Camiso's $500 million plan to revitalize Division II soccer. The deadline was today for U.S. Soccer Federation to agree to meet with him to discuss terms.
Well, they needed to do more than that, right?
Yes.
Didn't they have to agree to meet with him under his terms only?
Yes, essentially yes.
He said several of the board members weren't allowed to participate.
Yeah, because they're
couldn't be allowed on the
conflicted,
phone.
Yeah, yeah, the reasoning behind that is he thinks that once he shows them his plan, they're immediately going to go to Don Garber, and to other interested parties and leak that information, trade secrets and all that good stuff. And so he doesn't want to meet with anybody who was conflicted.
Nothing says trade secret like I'm going to spend less on each team than the USL spends on average on each team.
Yeah, I mean, $500 million doesn't really get you very far.
But like,
Because it's over 10 years,
Yeah.
and it's over supposedly something like 20 teams over that 10-year period.
I think what their plan is to have, get up to 8 or 10 teams.
Oh,
which
that's right, 10 teams, 10 years.
Yeah.
He only puts forward half of it.
And then they do a fundraiser.
The Tacoma
or
Rainiers
funding to get the most.
Absolutely love to only spend $2.5 million a year.
Yeah,
That is
it's
not
not
enough
a
to
lot- it's not a lot
reinvent
of-
soccer in America.
It's not a lot. It's not a lot of money.
No.
but can we talk
How
about
much do you need?
like Anthony Precourt's
Oh.
love for Austin? Because
I really don't get it.
he was living in Houston.
Oh yes,
And used to like dip down to Austin, and that he even had his bachelor party.
I think
there.
my response to you on that has trended in Columbus.
Yeah,
Like I'm still getting with these weird location likes because I said, does that mean he's moving the crew to a strip club?
But really,
which
and, like,
maybe
having
we shouldn't poo-poo that idea. I mean, don't have any problem with that per se.
Dynamite-
I
but,
have to tell you, if you have a soccer-specific strip club,
right.
that might be just what Austin needs.
Or Vegas?
Actually, we should talk about Vegas.
Oh,
I mean, the lights could do something like. But yes, he fell in love with the city when he went there for a bachelor party, and that
in
eventually-
1993 or 94 or what have you.
and for decades he's been wanting to establish a business there.
Like that seems like, I don't know.
Most people have a
shady as fuck ish.
I still don't know why they are so gung ho on going to Austin under the current circumstances.
Sounder Art trivia for you, related to our subject. What was Jeremiah's first story at Sounder at Heart?
I do not know.
It was why Austin is the perfect expansion.
Oh, is
city
it really?
Wow.
I actually remember that coming up.
Give me what year was this? Give or take.
2010, when he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I want to join your website," and I said, "I need to see some of your writing. You've never written about soccer before." And his first story was why Austin is the perfect expansion.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and look that up. That's fantastic.
We'll see if we can.
I remember
Yeah.
when that first was this whole thing first came up. Somebody went. It was probably you, Dave. Went back and dug that up and posted it on Twitter.
I'm absolutely gonna have to look that up. That's pretty hilarious. But yeah, I don't know why he's so fixated on that. They don't even really want the team, from what I can tell.
It's super
The city-
weird.
Yes, the city
It's
doesn't
like there's
it.
people who do, and then the city's like absolutely not, and then like transit may not work out as.
Well, I think
they're
the city's like,
expecting.
if you want to pay for everything, sure, we'd love to have you.
Smart city.
Yeah, right. So
That's how all sports think. We maybe like we'll improve the road.
yeah, sidewalks,
Yeah.
some lights.
The stuff
You know.
cities are responsible
Yeah,
for.
exactly,
We'll give
but-
you that.
weird.
We won't
but-
build the stadium for you though.
Yeah, but the thing that did come out this weekend was the estimate for the cost to move the transit station close to where they're planning to build the stadium, which came out to a cost of like $13 million, which they want Precourt to pay for. And he came out with his lobbyist came out with a statement that basically said, well, that's a little bit more than we would like to spend given what benefit we'll get out of it because you know
benefit all the people on the train.
Yeah, the 1,600 people they'll be
Well,
able
yeah.
to move in an
Yeah.
hour. That's
So it's the monorail.
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
One of the interesting other developments in the whole crew saga is the Independent Save the Crew movement has started a pledge for 2019.
Yes.
And they are asking for people to pledge to get season tickets under the caveat that Precourt is no longer involved in the Columbus crew.
Yeah.
And those pledges have topped 10,000
Yeah, I
the
was going to
last
say
I
it's
heard.
probably significant.
Yeah. Oh, it's huge.
Now, realize when a MLS expansion happens and they get 10,000 ticket pledges, it's trumpeted all over the world. Like, I remember when we had our pledges and we got to 10 and then 14 and then 19 and then at 21 they're like, no more. Because they originally thought CenturyLink would only have 19,000 or 21,000 people in it.
I think Roth didn't he say that they only expected like 12,000?
12,000 season ticket holders
Yeah.
and 21,000 attendees was the original MLS plan.
I think we
here.
had 12,000 Chivas fans at that CCL match.
Yeah.
But that's a
They
good
did a little
thing.
better than that. So the pledge for 2019 has tens of thousands, and one of the things that came out is they are scrubbing what they feel are joke entries.
Yeah.
Any entry from Austin, for example, they're just eliminating. So it's interesting because there are a lot of people who want the crew to stay in Columbus and just want Precourt not involved.
Oh, there's zero chance that he would be involved in Columbus if they stay there. Either he gets bought out or they force a buyout if they can manage to win the Modell suit.
So-
or they move, or he gets an expansion team.
But that's the
in
other
Austin
thing.
and decides to.
If he gets an
leave-
expansion team
yeah.
in Austin, San Antonio sues him.
Possibly.
So we talked about this, let's call it a month ago. Like, where are you at now? Like, are you have the scales weighted one way or the other? How are you feeling?
Well, for those who haven't been following particularly closely, the crew got a big win recently.
Right.
In that the judge in this lawsuit ordered them to basically order MLS to basically turn over financials so they could start the process of valuing the team for a potential sale. That was not something that MLS was expecting
Right.
or happy with. So they have appealed that. What's today? The 21st. So I want to say by the 30th, give or take, MLS has to provide their brief on the appeal to explain why the decision was wrong. If they lose that appeal, and I think there's a good chance they will, then they got to at that point turn over their financials.
They're not going to do that.
Yeah, and they are. Yeah, they're gonna
Like,
they're going to either appeal to the Supreme Court of Ohio, or at that point they probably try to move the case to federal court.
or they find a way to compromise. Kind of
Yeah.
the Fraser Agreement, which a lot of people see as recognizing the trust exceptions.
Yeah.
doesn't really
Antitrust, yeah.
do that. Because it's not really what people think it is. Because basically MLS said you don't get any visibility to this, and reached a compromise on the biggest
Yeah,
issues. Like, there was no test as to whether or not single entity was allowed to exist because they bypassed that before the court could rule on that element. So MLS will do everything in its power
oh, absolutely.
to
Well,
avoid
handing over anything.
getting somebody who's not in to be able to
circle,
know.
Yes.
If you're not an owner, there's an original investor who is not an owner from when the league got founded.
So probably Rothenberg, Alan
Yes.
Rothenberg. Yeah.
And then there's an investment fund that used to have part of SUM, but not part of MLS, SUM, the marketing agency. MLS just bought them
Yeah. They bought him
those
out. They
shares
bought him out.
back after like 3 seasons. But those are, you're limited to about 25 entities that have had full visibility,
Yeah.
and not many people have sold out of that. Like,
Yeah, it's profitable.
it's enough that people, even the people that want to get out, retain a share. What's his name? The former William Chang, the former DC United majority owner.
Okay.
And in MLS, a majority owner only needs 35%, and to have a certain wealth level.
Yeah.
He's actually still a minority owner
Of
DC United.
oh, interesting.
And he went to the District Ultras over the weekend and said, "We are absolutely getting Rooney." No, he
Well,
just
was
has
he like already in the store today or yesterday? Like,
But
there's some weird
the,
thing.
the reason this is important in the ownership situation is because when people get in, they don't really get out; they just
Right.
get reduced.
Right.
So, and even Eric Thorer, who's selling off his majority share, will still have he'll have a minority stake in like DC United and some.
He should just get a piece of LAFC. I mean, everyone else has some. So
I mean, like Drew Carey's kids are going to have a part of the Seattle Sounders. I don't even know if he has kids, but like, I mean, that's part of why they were hesitant. One of their worries about Sacramento Republic is because their ownership structure is very similar to the LAFC ownership structure, in that there's no one.
Yeah, it's a mile wide and
Yeah,
an inch deep.
There's no one with a deep cut in there, and no one's quite as famous as the people that are involved in LAFC, and it's Sacramento, not LA. So they're not willing to make those compromises in Northern California like you might be in a Miami or
Yeah. Well, it kind of leads into Cincinnati, since we're talking expansion. They're kind of running into the same thing where their MLS is making them get every single duck in a row before they even award the team, and I'm personally still skeptical they're going to at this point, because I think the crew situation has some impact on it. Because remember Taylor Twellman during the LAFC broadcast versus the Sounders said that MLS was basically 2 weeks out from awarding an expansion team. He said he'd be shocked, quote unquote, if an announcement didn't come within 10 or 14 days of that game, which was on I think it was the 29th of April, give or take.
Yep.
But we're well past 14 days, and there is no announcement of Cincinnati being in the league. Apparently, MLS is coming to inspect the site and what have you, but we're still, that's still going to be the end of May, probably.
But like we have this constant. We talked about this a month or so ago. Like we have this constant 6 cities that could potentially get another team, and then you have Nashville is making the big move.
Yeah, I think they're fine. Basically,
they're probably fine.
Well, they got approved everything, and now the city council wants to move the stadium ground.
Right.
Yeah, that's not going to happen though, because they approved it, and on the first place, 31-6. They're just, how are you going to overturn something like that? So they're probably fine, is my guess.
Nashville away,
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun, actually.
Printers Alley.
dude. I'd go to Nashville like every weekend if there were better flights. Although BNA, what a weird airport code. Anyway,
Oh yeah, so the last one is, of course, Miami.
Will never
But
exist.
I'm
literally never gonna
pretty. Well, I shouldn't say pretty confident. I am skeptical that they are going to happen at this point.
so
Because-
like 1 to 3 year skeptical, or like 1
It
to
will
5
never
year?
happen.
I think never. I think I'm with Dave.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
We're gonna have MLS 2, and maybe they'll get a team.
Well, they've got the appeal on the Overton side, which is where they have the property
Where Beckham doesn't want.
where he
Yeah.
doesn't want the team because his
Yeah, but
new
he'll
owners came in
he'll
and said,
flip.
"This is terrible. We don't want to build a team here."
But he likes
Do you know
money.
where Beckham's team's going to wind up?
yes.
The
Vegas.
lower bowl of the Oakland Raiders Stadium in Las Vegas.
Wow. I could totally see that.
You look at U.S. markets that have an appeal for David Beckham and the type of players he wants to drag to the United States. Miami, New York, L.A., Vegas. And we know, like, we talked about the Las Vegas Lights a little bit. Their USL team.
It's doing pretty well.
They're off to a hot start.
Doing pretty well.
They're completely embracing the Vegas over-the-top culture.
There's llamas. We're gonna talk. We have a. We
There's
have
a giant
comment.
Elvis that
Yeah.
hosts the walkout. It's a
There's
great
Sammy
experience.
Ochoa.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going.
There's a former U.S. national team player.
I wonder if Casey's watched any of their games.
Oh yeah.
I really hope he has.
Casey actually sits at home and just like does the 30-second rewind every so often, and he's just like, I want this.
Yeah.
You might
I want
have.
this too.
Hercules Gomez is a little bit of a Las Vegas fan. I think he'd get
Does he have a
involved.
place there? Yeah.
That's home.
That's it. Still back to home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are a lot of reasons why we can now think that Vegas is. I mean, just look at the
I
Knights.
think it might.
Which is insane, and we should talk about
So
this.
all it takes, like, if David Beckham changes his mind and goes to MLS and the Raiders and says, you know what, Miami's not working, I'd like to be in Vegas. Every other party involved says, okay.
I think it
immediately.
might take 8 to
all
10
it takes
seconds.
is him. It
Maybe.
takes him just saying, you know what, I could live here.
And if he rolls up in what he was wearing at the wedding over the weekend, it's zeros. It's negative. Time will go backwards.
He was-
and they'll have had a team there for 10 years.
Which
Yeah.
wedding?
And he was one of the keynote speakers
At a Vegas event, yeah.
At the not just at the event, at the Raiders
know
begging
what
for
that
the
was.
stadium event.
Maybe a grape?
He was one of the people that they presented as a. It won't just be for NFL football. We can get
Oh my God.
soccer teams
Can
here.
you even imagine?
And he said these words, and I'm like,
Yeah,
say-
I remember that.
add one more sentence. Add one more sentence. Just say, my team will be here, and.
So
I think the only issue, among other issues, the main one is obviously you got the expansion discount, but who the hell knows what that actually is at this point? Because MLS has never released those actual terms. We just know
I
it
think,
was
wasn't
around
this just
25
it was like
million
the
or
Pat
something.
Riley style? We just put it in his last deal that he just gets a team. It was like $25 million.
That's what
And everyone else
Grant
is
Wallace
paying
reported it as
$250.
$25 million,
Yeah.
But I think
which
it
at the
went up.
time was a 50% discount.
Right.
Now,
Good deal.
recently Don Garber was asked, "Would you ever do that again?" And his answer was, "No, absolutely not."
But
and
like-
somebody responded with, "What about like for a Messi,
Messi.
or a Ronaldo?" And he
Oh
said,
my God.
"No, absolutely not."
Then you're stupid because
No.
you should totally do that.
because that
Messi
deal
would pick
is
a city that's
costing them
cool.
$250 million.
Wow.
And
at
it's
least-
taken them
Messi or
10
no
years to
Messi.
get a
Yeah.
10 years to get a stadium.
But that's because you
Yeah.
picked a whatever. We
Well,
can
you-
talk about Miami all day. Yeah. But
What else are we
let's-
gonna talk
let's
about?
Are we gonna talk
Las
about
Vegas? Can we talk about Las Vegas
Yes,
for a second?
absolutely.
So, two things I want to talk about. I want to talk about gambling because I think that's an important topic. But I want to talk about one other thing first. So, if you can cue this up. So, one
is
of
that
the
that
supporter
tweet?
groups there, the Lucy Fuerza, had tweeted about how they had some disagreements with the team and that the DJ was drowning out their noise. And a lot of us in supporter groups saw this and we were like, oh shit, that's super messed up. I can't believe the stadium was playing music over your songs. And then today, at least for me today, found out that it was because they were dropping a certain chant that the LAFC fans were also chanting. And that was the strategic moment at which the DJ was playing music over them, and they're playing
Every
all
goal kick,
innocent.
yeah.
But the people who were in the house that weren't in their SG,
That's a good angle.
were like,
Good on Vegas.
you deserve it. And like, I'm not a big fan of the house doing anything to mess with groups because there's a slippery slope there, and like once you do one thing, you can do whatever. But I don't think like. Somebody in our ECS Slack had said, like, that's maybe not the hill you want to die on. Is the, like, you want to do that chant? And you
Hey
wanna,
there,
you wanna,
4-month-old supporter group. You really want to say,
Right.
like,
You want to die on that hill? I don't think so. Like, maybe not your best interest. But it was super interesting. Not that I would expect them to come out and say, we were chanting this chant that you may or may not believe is homophobic. We got shouted down. But, like, they played it cool, and then people who actually were in the know were like, you deserved it. And that's pretty fucked up. And as somebody who, like, helps make decisions with other supporters, that's shitty. Like, if that's your game. I think it makes everybody look bad, ultimately,
Yeah.
to handle it that way.
That's fine.
So, fine, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's unfortunate. That said, Las Vegas is going to be nuts.
I
and
can't wait.
it's not like I don't want to go to new places all the time, but Vegas on a Saturday. What
Saturday
time?
Are you
night,
doing the
8
USO
o'clock.
away?
8 p.m. in Vegas on a Saturday, June 16th. And if you want tickets, we have 34 left right now. $25.
do you think
it's going to be dumb?
Do you think we're going to have more supporters in Vegas for S2 than on average in Tacoma?
I don't know. You can't tell. Weekday games
I mean,
are
it's
hard.
a reason to travel.
Yeah.
It's a reason to travel. One,
To
flights
Vegas.
are cheap. The Alaska package deals are still. They start with a 2. Like you can leave Friday and come back Sunday and have lodging. And
Right.
it starts with a 2.
That's
That's
about
kind
as good
of
as you
insane.
can expect. Yeah.
Like round trip, if it was $250, you should go.
So-
round trip, if it's $258 and you get a hotel room, you should definitely go.
And
But then you're in Vegas.
right, and
right,
then
that's
it's
the
5
benefit.
million.
Not
yeah. Anyway,
But you can drink a box of wine while you walk down the strip.
from a pure marketing perspective, what they're doing is super
Great, it's
interesting
great.
to me. Like the
the jersey's awesome.
the mark, their logo is like the motel key.
Yeah.
And neon signs like all at the same time. Like it's so well thought out.
What's the translation of the supporter group? I mean, I looked it up. It's literally light and force.
What's light force and lights, but it's
but
lights and
what's
force.
is that
That's what it is.
The
Light-
meaning?
but it's probably light and power.
okay?
Power
Power of
and
lights.
light, kind
Yeah,
of like
okay.
the electric company.
They're the
Yeah.
Las
'Cause the
Vegas
electric
lights.
company
So
Yeah, yeah.
is something down there, but think like power company, but it is light and power. Force.
Right.
It's
They're-
probably like power and light.
Okay. Lucy Fuerza.
Yeah.
Did I do
Light
that right?
And power.
Close to right.
Closer than I would.
Fuerza.
It was close.
Yeah. Z's or S's.
Okay.
H's are silent.
You're silent.
J's are H's.
You're silent.
Got it?
That was a good break.
No, they're only 12th.
Out of what, 2.1 million teams in USL? Is that what we're up to?
12th in the West.
Right.
Out of the
Yeah.
17. Sounder
I lost
S2
count.
is 14.
14.
They're interesting. Like they've taken a little bit more of a we're going to try to win. They have Freddie Adu.
Sammy Ochoa.
Yeah. And there's some interesting talent. They just signed 3 more players even to try to make a push because a lot of these independent teams have to compete for that top
right.
8 in the
Yeah.
West. Like you have to make the playoffs.
It's super fun. I legit think they want this, and it's not just like shtick. And like Vegas and other places like it in the world, let alone the U.S., will just throw $1 million at something just to do it. They appear to legit want this.
They're having fun too. They have the Reno rivalry, which is very natural for 2 teams in Nevada, and then they have a rivalry with Phoenix because Vegas and Phoenix are both basically 2 desert cities that try to do it different ways. One survives on golf, and the other survives on gambling. So they have a little
Why
rivalry
is that
there.
judgmental?
Which one was I judging harder?
Golf.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, like, and I think when you're getting 8,000 fans at that level, which is basically what Vegas and Phoenix and Reno are all doing.
Yeah.
I know the Western Conference in the USL often gets overshadowed because of FC Cincinnati right now, but there's some interesting things happening in lower division soccer out west with those 3, and then Sacramento,
Yeah.
and Rio Grande, and the 2 Oklahoma teams that can go to hell.
Dave's just going to keep going. And then...
There, I think I'm done now. The 2
So-
Oklahoma teams can still go to hell.
You asked earlier, and I saw that Bregel responded.
Wow, we're talking a lot.
about BNA?
Yeah.
That's a good
So
fact.
before that, I was looking it up, and I just typed in "Why is Nashville?" and
Why
ending,
is Nashville ending?
and then the second one was BNA.
There you go.
So
That's a great-
expensive, booming, but yeah, it is called BNA thanks to Bregel because it was originally called Barry Field.
which is cool. I'll take it.
Who is Barry?
No one knows.
Bregel, look it up.
Rich dude in Nashville.
Maybe there was just a lot
I
of
think
berries.
that was also.
Super popular for bachelor and bachelorette parties currently at this
Nashville.
Nash
yeah.
Vegas. Do you know why? Because the traffic's awful, but it's super fun.
But they'll do the little pedal meet
Nashville.
things down there.
But you just basically post up. You get to a point where you're like, okay, I found a landmark. I have $100 in my pocket. I can go into literally 25 bars and have a beer, and then come out at the end and still have like $75. And it
you
doesn't
had-
make any
Yeah.
sense at all.
If you had 2 nights in Nashville, I would basically say you don't need to leave these 4 roads: Printers Alley,
Yeah,
Church Street,
yeah,
2nd Avenue, and Broadway. Right?
yeah. Yes.
That's the
Yes.
the one that basically
Yep.
runs across the perpendicular to those 3. Because 2nd is down towards the river, Church is up above, Printers is still legit
Yeah, I
an
think that's
alley,
right.
and then Broad. And because I lived in Clarksville, which is about 40 miles north.
Did you take the last train to Clarksville?
I met you at the station when I was in the Army, and so almost every
last name
Friday
was
night we drove down to Nashville,
It's funnier
and like
because the Dick Clark
they had
5
the TNN was
on
the
the last
national
train to
network.
Nashville.
Oh,
Eventually
yes.
became Spike TV. They
Yeah.
were basically based out of there,
Braggle with the Google.
and I never even went to like the whole like Dollywood area. I did Vanderbilt's neighborhood twice. Once on game day, which was really cool because that was when Notre Dame traveled to Vanderbilt, and so even
Who
though
do you hate more in that situation? Because both of those teams are just despicable.
no, there's nothing to hate about Vanderbilt. They're like a nursing college that somehow has a football team. Like they're not any good. No, they're very
Ever.
wealthy,
Yeah.
very wealthy. Lots
Didn't
of
they have
medical
that
stuff there.
awkward Jets quarterback. What was his name?
There's nothing to hate about
I have no
Vanderbilt
clue.
University sports.
Anyway,
Notre Dame, on the other hand, in
Awful.
Vandy's little like 50,000 seat stadium
overrated AF.
for college, that's
I
small.
prefer Vandalay
Yeah.
Industries sports.
I think they had something.
Line
Notre Dame fans
of
were like
clothing.
80% of the stadium.
That's not surprising.
Yeah, so I was there well before. They had finished construction of the Nashville Predators arena when I was there, but hadn't opened it yet. And Cat 5 hurricane or tornado, like the largest tornado to ever hit a
Yeah.
major metro area in the United States, went through and bust the like. They have this massive glass frontage that's like 2/3 of the arena. That had just been put up, and then 2 days later, the largest tornado to hit a metropolitan area went through it. So those are my Nashville memories. I want to get there. Probably
It would
the
be a
only
fun one.
the
It'd be a fun
only
one.
way I get to Nashville is if S2 faces them in the USL final. It's probably the only way I can justify that expense.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
That's not going to happen.
Did you go to the Bat Building?
I don't remember that. I toured the state capitol park a lot because it's really fast. They have this awesome, like, stone inlay map of the state with all the rivers that run through it because Nashville has a ton of rivers, and I remember that. I mean, let's be honest. It's been 20 years since I lived in Nashville.
It's been a minute.
It's been 20 years since
the
I
Bat
lived 40
Building
miles
was
north.
not there. I don't believe. Whoa. Be careful out there. I mean, not
Generally, when drunk people throw things
This is
at
the
a
Bat
wall
Building.
near you,
If anybody wants to know,
don't antagonize them in the future because
Yeah.
I'm closer to them.
Fair. Got it. Okay. Dave doesn't want to die.
Bat Building.
Not today. I don't have my sword.
Oh, you got the Bat Building? Cool. There it is. Bat
Very
Building.
nice.
Oh yeah, I remember that building.
It's a good landmark.
Yeah.
It was that SBC? Would that have been SBC? Maybe. Anywho.
I need a new computer. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm getting
Great.
lots of little live streaming encoder
We just
issues.
got like real escalated right
and
there.
Should we talk about the
should
Sounders?
hear my
Did we ever
fans
ask
going-
any of the
Speaking of
questions?
We have one
maybe
more
I should
thing.
start a GoFundMe.
Can you show the
No.
one last fun thing? So today we learned about a new trend in dining
What's it called?
culture. Bowl food. As Dave pointed out, it's been popular for millennia.
A million years.
It's like education where you rename something.
Bowl food is the hot new trend where you eat food out of a bowl.
This is not.
I don't really understand
the
this.
Onion, Nutmeg News.
It's a real
like
food website.
Are you sure that it's not like the foodie version of Nutmeg News?
I don't
or
think
the
it
Onion
is.
Or anything
No,
like
no.
that?
It's a
It's real.
clickbait website. They got their clicks.
Yeah.
I need to know anybody
The takeout.
anybody here live or in the chat audience, any Below Deck Mediterranean fans? Because the season opener was last week, and the person there complained because their thick pasta sauce and pasta was served in a bowl, and no fancy restaurant would dare serve dinner in a bowl.
Like in real life, this
That
happened?
is really outrageous.
It was one of the worst people I'm a Below Deck fan.
Because, like, the best Italian place in, like, let's call it core Seattle serves pasta in bowls
probably about 2/3 of their pasta is in bowl.
easily.
So I looked up the takeout, and it looks like it's
It's real.
probably real. But their tagline on, like, if you like Google the takeout, is the takeout. Food is delicious.
I mean, they're just a food website,
That's
yeah.
super Google simple.
Food is
Max
delicious.
Aquino's website is Max takes photos. That's his tagline.
I just
It's pretty
Sounder
on the
Hearts-
nose.
put food in bowls too.
Just go with it, Max. What the hell?
Like,
the new way to eat forks.
did they do that?
Max?
No.
Okay.
Max and Dave both, by the way, have spam on their jerseys, and it's amazing.
Fluffy Killer
Nice.
Bunnies. That's the team. We're going to talk about Sounders. Do we
I mean,
need to ask Mickey about
probably-
questions?
Mickey's answered questions
Oh,
before.
I wasn't here for that. Because basically he's the alt Dave.
Yeah, right.
He is the alt Dave.
Yeah.
Well, the S2 game was fun.
I mean, if we're ranking Daves right now,
These the Daves I know.
Mickey,
I know. These
Mickey
the Daves
might
I
be in
know.
the lead.
Mickey's a greater Dave than
These
Dave.
the Daves I know. I know. These the Daves I know.
So let's talk about Sounders. So there's this game on Saturday. It's at 2 p.m. Pacific time.
Who are we playing?
Update.
Wait, new info?
Oh,
It's at 2, not at 1. If
That
you're
was months ago.
if you're somebody who printed out your ticket
Oh,
the
good point.
day it happened, your ticket is wrong.
If you did that, you're fired.
You are our parents' age.
Did anyone actually do that?
I mean,
I can't.
it should be noted the original schedule said 1. It's
did.
been 2. They publicized it twice. It's 2 o'clock. You can still watch the Champions League final.
Oh, that's on Saturday?
They haven't announced
is.
that yet, but I would assume they
Right.
will.
What
I'll be
time?
at Temple watching Champions League final.
What time does it start?
The Champions League, 11 o'clock, I think.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that day's not going to end well.
Temple early.
That's
Temple
I am
often.
over any game that starts before 3.
We
in
had
the
this
last
discussion,
3 years.
yeah.
Like it's just never goes well.
Beth
You
and
mean
I
you
looked
wake
for
up,
you
like,
for.
sick the next
I
morning.
no, it's not sick. I just wake up the next day.
So,
I
like,
lose
6 p.m.
the entire day.
6 p.m. ish.
I remember
next day.
an 8 o'clock in the evening where Beth and I
Saturday game.
started wandering around Pioneer Square, basically looking for Tom
Don't you,
I
have
was
Find My
hanging
Friends?
out.
You need to install Find My Friends
because he
on your
didn't meet
phone.
us for dinner.
I am not installing anything that allows people to track my location. No.
Spoiler alert. Too late.
Already
late.
did. It's called
You didn't know.
It's
You
called
own a phone.
iPhone.
It's called Facebook.
Yeah. I went to
called
League on
anything
Saturday,
Google?
went home, opened Facebook, and then all of a sudden, all the people at Pub League were people I might know.
Nearby.
And then I was like, I'm going to just close Facebook right now because I don't want to know.
Possibly
I
any-
haven't
delete
used
it.
Facebook.
Tom can't even delete Facebook because it's a core element of his
I
career.
fucking hate Facebook.
Yeah. I can't.
I do not
Wait, I
use
can't
it. I don't
delete it
use it
That
anymore.
shit is awful, and Max Aquino uses it all the time.
I'd get rid of Facebook too if I
That's
could.
the corporate overlord you can
Wait,
trust.
so this is unrelated, but it is interesting to me. So about a year ago or so, when Facebook Live started really coming around, all of my clients wanted to switch to Facebook Live. less than a year later now, everybody's going back to YouTube.
Yeah. Do you know why?
Because Facebook sucks.
It's awful.
terrible.
Yeah.
Although
Not everybody, but most people.
on the Big Island right now, all the people that are shooting like legit news coverage, it's just random people who live on the Eastern
And they're just
Shore
Facebook Living.
who are just Facebook living. Like,
Is that right?
check
Is
out
that-
this
is that the
lava
verb
in my
of that?
neighborhood, and I'm like, you need to walk
Facebook
away
live
from the
streaming.
lava
Doesn't
right
go
now.
that way.
Maybe back away from the lava.
Well, weren't you telling me
flow.
about the dude that got hit in the
Guy got
leg?
hit with lava, and people were like, "Oh, that's pretty messed up." And I'm like, "You got hit with lava. What were you doing?"
Like, what made you choose to go that close to the flowing lava?
Like, it
It's like
wasn't just
2,000
like
degrees.
real
This is
slow
rock that's
at the
melted.
end of some flow. No, it was like bursting out of the ground, and dude's like, "I'm gonna get a closer photo." No,
That's what Zoom is
it's
for.
Lava, like it will literally hit you and just go through you and come out the other side. It's lava.
Because it turns rocks into water. Essentially.
All we had to
And
do
it's
was
totally
watch
safe.
that car get eaten
Melt.
by lava 2 weeks
Melt.
ago, and people
Completely
are still
melt.
like, "I'll just walk up to the lava right now." Do not walk up to the lava.
It turned the asphalt road into a
But
fire.
seriously, I'm so like 90s Darwin Awards email. This is on that level of shit.
Yes. It's Darwin
You see
Awards
the
is still
video?
around. I've got students in my class who
It's so good.
read Darwin Awards and love it.
You see the video of the lava flow hitting
Coming across
the asphalt
yeah.
road, and it's like, yeah, asphalt.
So,
I'll take that.
I'll
Eat that.
When
It's
I was
fuel.
in the Volcanoes National Park, there's if you go kind of north and east from where the viewing area is, it's like Jager Park. There's a it's like something of canyons. I can't remember the name of the road, but it's just this like gravel-ish sort of paved road, and they actually started flattening it out and paving parts of it because the rest of the coastal roads were just going to get hit with lava, and they still needed an evacuation route. And they were like, this road that no one's done anything to in 40 years,
We're gonna
let's
push it
fix
down."
it this week because otherwise you're all going to die. And that's the world these people are in. And some tourist is like, let's go run up to the lava. No! It's like so low on the dumbass ideas to get yourself on YouTube list. Like, it's not even in the top 50. It's such a poor life choice.
Do we have time for a dumb army story?
Yes.
I mean, yes, we do.
Please do.
Oh, look, Jerry's here.
Hi, Jerry.
Spring 1996, San Angelo, Texas, which is kind of west central. It's basically 2 hours from West Laco, 2 hours from Medford.
Okay.
Like, it's 2 hours from anything in west central Texas. There is
in the West
zero
Central
trees
town
or
of-
mountains between it and the North Pole. So on April 4th, once it snowed. And it's way down south. But while we're there, there's a hurricane. We're out to dinner at what is one of Texas's like top 10 steakhouses that's in like middle of nowhere. Like the reason why people who have money go to San Angelo that isn't related to the military or the state university is because of this steakhouse. So a bunch of soldiers, we have nothing else to spend our money on. We go to this steakhouse, which is really nice dinner, but tornado warning comes. At the steakhouse, there's not really anything to do except we're in a reinforced building. Just please stay at your table and wait. Except for my idiot friend, who I actually just re-met recently because he's moved back to Washington. He's from Enumclaw. He's like, oh, I'm going to go out and see it. I've never seen a tornado before. Mm-hmm. And Team Sergeant's like, no, you're not.
To be honest, I would
hard
probably
no.
be that guy.
I would too. And then you would
be
just
that
go
guy.
back inside.
I would be that guy. I would.
As long as you can
'Cause I-
outrun a tornado.
Because I grew up here in the Northwest, and a tornado to me is like thunder and lightning. I know
Except
it's not.
cooler.
Yes, exactly.
So
don't
eventually
get it.
he went outside. We got him back in quickly because he came in screaming, "Oh my God."
What is that? It's
So it's
wind
amazing how that
in a circle,
I-
real fast.
And
don't
weird-
go near it.
Weird shit, like flying in the wind.
Why is that cow?
It
all
wasn't
the way
quite
over
to that,
there?
but
In a
he
different
ran
life,
in
I
and he's
would be a
like,
tornado
"Oh my
chaser."
God." And The rest of us just sat at the table and ate, but he kind of like huddled under the table. He's about 6'3" and 215 at his army weight, and dude was scared shitless. He's like, "Is it going to come down this road? Is it going to come down this road?" And they're like, we can't really control that, but one thing we're doing, like they had all these like mechanical shutters that went on the inside of their windows, and we were basically, steakhouses are already pretty damn dark, right? It was essentially pitch black in there. We're like eating by candlelight while this tornado is ripping through the town. So that's what army-related story. What's up?
We're just checking Twitter. Yeah, I would, in a different life, I would have been a tornado chaser. I would love that. Drive around in the vehicle that has little spikes that goes poof, into the ground. Yeah, I'd do it.
Cool.
I know.
I got the story.
What were we talking about again?
Tornadoes.
Yeah.
Twister
And
was a great
volcanoes.
movie.
Oh, that's right. Sounders play RSL this
RSL.
weekend.
And what do they do next weekend?
Also play RSL.
At
But
RSL.
in
Rio Tinto.
Sandy, the Riot.
One of the few suburban stadiums that works.
That's
it works.
true.
As a suburban stadium, they get their entire community. They get good attendance. They identify with their community, even if we don't like it. It works.
I mean, their community, and by their community, I mean people who call Stefan Fry a Nazi.
Yeah, didn't he say he said
I was trying to. I had a little bit of a different focus. I was going to talk about like Sandy
said that
versus
they're
Frisco
the worst fans?
or Bridgeview.
He didn't say worse.
Or Commerce.
No, that's what Mickey just said.
or Carson.
Well, I think
he
Fry
say
pretty
that?
much said he did say in an interview was the worst away experience, and he said
He was
Salt
going
Lake.
for some ignorance on that
He
one.
said they were like just the worst as far as chants and stuff. I'm
But
I'm
anyway,
pretty sure you searched the
as suburban
article.
stadiums, you are correct. I agree.
Sure.
So,
I don't know who Rick is, but blame him.
so Sounders did on their site today things to look for,
Yeah.
and the thing to me,
Goals.
I don't want to talk about the injuries.
Try to find
I want to
those.
talk about two of the four things.
Well, if you
One-
read their things to look for and don't want to talk about the injuries, you can not talk about their things to look for because everything is
no,
dependent on
I want to
injuries.
talk about two things.
That's kinda
One
sad.
is what is Roldan's role, and two is who plays up top. Christian.
Both of them are completely dependent on injuries, though. It says right in their story.
Well,
Oh my God! They spelled Wolf's first name wrong. What the fuck? You know what, Danny? Fix your
you're
shit.
gonna have to get a spell counselor.
Mangus Wolf Ikram is my new Sounders favorite player. Mangus. Anyway, so
Well, is anybody coming back this week?
let's just say there are the.
It's possible that Osvaldo Alonso comes back this week. It's possible that Kim Keehee comes back this week.
So let's just say they're both back.
yeah.
Where does Christian Roldan play?
If they're both back and they play a 5-4-1
All I can hear is the Chili's song right
in
now.
the band of four.
Yeah, I can see that.
If they're
'Cause we don't have
both
anybody
back
else
and
to
play
play
a
that
4-2-3-1, he'll be in the band of three. Because Gustav would be in the band of two.
Gustav.
Oh, wait, he's
gone.
gone.
He's
not
gone.
here.
So that would be... Oh, it would be Alonso and Christian in the band of two if they play a 4-2-3-1. If they play a 5-4-1, Alonso and Christian...
I think if
I'm
that's
not sure
the
Alonso's
two,
going to be back.
I think
But
if it's
it-
Alonso
if
back
if
and it's
both are back,
4-2,
yeah.
I think Sounders win like 3-1.
Salt Lake's a hot mess. That is for sure.
Dude, they give up goals like sieves.
They got killed by Philly.
Stop jinxing it.
Knock on wood.
Let's review the
I got my
number...
defense back, defense back, defense
do,
back.
do you not want me to say anything positive about the Sounders for once this week, Dave? I don't understand the problem. I think RSL's a
gonna
trash
have my own
heap,
show.
but I think Sounders are playing at home.
True, and they did score...
And if Alonso is playing, I feel like he and Roldan change the game. In that formation.
Yeah, Salt Lake looked terrible against Philly, and that was on the road.
And
they're going to be on the
Philly
road
is
again. And Philly is terrible.
Not good.
Yes.
Hold on, Philly is in
A
7th.
lot better than Seattle.
Only -3.
What are they?
They are 4-2 and 5.
Philly's
That's if your
scored more
draws
goals
are
than
in
they
there.
played
Where
games,
we?
which is something that Seattle
We
hasn't
are
done.
Absolutely
2-2 and
true.
5.
We
have
have
the
similar
same number of
numbers.
losses.
No.
High five.
Seattle has 7 goals. Philly has 11.
How
And
many
they
games?
scored. Didn't they score 4 of them? In
Sorry,
this
Philly
last
has
match?
12 and 11.
All right,
12
so
goals
like-
in 11 played. Seattle has 7 goals in 9.
played.
I won't be confident in Seattle's goal scoring ability until they do it a couple games in a row. Remember when they had scored 3 goals in a game this year?
Minnesota.
Yeah, that was so much fun. Minnesota, by the way, slightly better defensively
What
than
are
Salt Lake.
goals?
The team that the pharmacy gets a lot of and gives up a lot of.
Agreed.
As opposed to my team where we give up none and get none.
Max is off mic. He's mocking Tom Bureau's pub league team.
Well, we went from 1st to 3rd in 1 week.
Hey, it's not that bad because we went from 2nd to 4th.
It's week 3. It's going to be okay.
That's
Lisa
Anyway.
brings up the Shin Guardians of the Galaxy.
We're in playoff position.
All 4 teams make the playoffs.
So,
You set it up that way.
we did determine yesterday that if 12 teams in the West made the playoffs,
Did you
Sounders-
order me another drink?
I did. Sounders would miss the playoffs.
Mickey, you're driving yourself home tonight.
Or you're just giving everything away.
yes.
If 12 teams made the playoffs in the West,
Oh.
Sounders
Aren't we ahead of Colorado?
would miss the playoffs.
Sounders are currently ahead of Colorado because Colorado
Lost terribly.
0.89 points per game to 0.8.
No, that's not the tiebreaker they lost on.
I know, but that's a fact.
And if you go by in the Supporters Shield, unfortunately, the Sounders did fall a couple spots. Toronto finally passed Seattle in the Supporters Shield race. Toronto is something like 18 or 19th, and the Sounders are 22nd in the Shield race now.
Ooh, Toronto has 10 points.
Yeah.
3-1 and
who's,
6.
who's actually at the top? Of
The moral to this story is
Shield race
don't
right now.
make
Is it-
MLS
is it
Cup 2 years
Atlanta?
in a row. Because the third year is going to suck.
Sucks.
How did New England do it 4 straight seasons?
Did they make it 4 years in a row?
4 years in a row.
First
Holy
to 5.
Atlanta.
They were the first to lose 5.
I like that the Galaxy and New England in the same year were the first to 5 wins and losses in
the
MLS
Galaxy
Cup
won
final.
their 5th MLS Cup against New England Revolution, who lost their 5th MLS Cup.
It's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, losing 4 straight. I mean, 1, the Buffalo Bills did it, so the people of New England are already familiar.
Yes.
And 2, can you imagine if the Sounders were in this situation and they hadn't have pulled off that 2016?
No.
I'd rather not think about that.
Also,
That was my Joe
Exactly.
Biden Obama Liquid Swords tweet where I'm just like, no. Like that's how I meant that right
and then
there.
add 2 more years of this.
No. Because I like March through June. Those are months that I appreciate in this world.
Dude, that makes me want to research how New England started their 3rd and their 4th year. Because they lost a rather significant player during that time. Like Clint Dempsey was only there for their first 2 years. He then got sold to Fulham. So they kind of went through... I'm going to bet they went through this similar thing in year 3. That doesn't make me feel better, but it is interesting.
So we're going into this Saturday. RSL is ready for this.
Bad.
0-5-1 on the road.
What's Seattle at home?
Does it matter?
Similar.
1-3-1?
Pretty much the same.
1-3-1, right?
1 win, 3 ties.
I don't have that information in front
The
of me.
draw was Columbus.
Tom bought me 2 drinks.
1 win over Minnesota. Lost to LA.
Montreal.
Lost to Montreal.
Lost to Montreal.
Maybe
We
it's
have
1,
one
2,
win.
and
1-2-1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1-2-1 at home.
better than 0-5-1 on the road. Yeah, I mean, but there's still. I mean, I sell like
Nick Rimondo is coming off his 200th victory.
So am I.
At what?
Stuff.
Not having a fifth
I actually have
child.
a question, Max. Has there ever been, related to the pub league name, the Shingardians of the Galaxy, has there ever been a team called Shingardium Leviosa?
Leviosa.
Yes, not Levioso.
you're a bad spellcaster.
Just wondering.
You're like Doctor Strange in like the first 20 minutes where he just can't. Like he just sits there and he's like.
The worst
And
part of
nothing
Doctor
happens.
Strange is he becomes super badass, like real fast. And then you're like, I don't know if I care about you as a superhero anymore. I haven't seen the new movie, so don't say anything, Dave.
Yeah, no
I
spoilers.
haven't seen Infinity War yet. I finally watched Doctor Strange, and I was very confused.
I haven't seen it yet.
Like the cut scene in how he became a martial artist, they like showed like 16 seconds of training. They're like, oh, now he's an expert. And I'm like,
Have you seen The
How did that
Matrix? Because I have.
I mean,
And now I know Kung Fu.
The Matrix, he got low jacked,
I have a quick.
basically.
Speaking of movies, I have a quick update. So, a few months ago, Hugo,
Quick, your time's up.
on the air, told me that if I don't watch Coco by June, I have to shave my head. I watched it this weekend,
I saw it.
so I
on
don't
Slack.
have to shave my head.
But
That is an amazing movie. I was blubbering at the end. Just
okay,
like it was so good. I would love to sit there and watch it with Hugo, so he could point out all of the little nuances that I don't know.
if Doctor Strange is Inception meets Marvel with a side of Grey's Anatomy, what is Coco?
It's the stuff you put in chocolate.
did you even say anything just there?
That's how I
You
describe.
bought me 2 drinks.
You didn't
I haven't been
drink
drinking
that one yet.
I haven't been drinking, so one
I like
drink
how his excuse
is like.
is,
do you
bought
guys
me
remember
two.
Adam? Because I do.
Woo!
Yeah.
I'm having my own show over here.
I'm excited for when the light rail shows up. 2037, Adam gets
Yeah.
to go home.
Speaking of the light rail, integration into a light rail stop is part of the RFQ for the joint venture Parks of Tacoma and City of Tacoma.
Their new building,
Soccer
their new soccer
stadium.
specific stadium. Yeah,
There's supposed to be a stop there by
Yeah.
Foss Cheney Soccer Stadium.
But there is no foul language permitted. So I don't know if it's ever going to happen.
or candy coated.
It's the good place.
You know what? Fork you.
Candy coated.
I watched the away game the day after that here.
How'd that go?
There are 50 miniature forks scattered around the Berliner by
I believe
a fan.
that. Is this like a hunt that we have to go on after the show tonight?
No, they were cleaned
Thank
up eventually
God.
because that was 2 weeks
Easter
ago.
egg ever.
Because I am not doing that.
So the first team had a bye last week, and now S2 has a bye next week over Memorial Day weekend. I'm like, how did that happen?
Couldn't they just give both of them a bye and give us
No,
the
because
weekend
then
off?
you wouldn't get Lamar Nagel, Harry Shipp, and Waylon Francis minutes.
I don't
Yeah, that wasn't,
see how that decides how my weekend gets better.
That was not a good performance by any of them, really,
They,
in that game.
I mean, part of it's because they're just dropped in without practicing.
Yeah.
Do you mean CDM, Harry Ship?
That isn't actually a surprise. He practices as
Yeah.
a defensive midfielder regularly with the Sounders. They kind of want him. There's a lot of thought that Harry Shipp is a number 8 because of his speed. That's probably where you can play him and he'll be successful. Basically, he's a slightly less defensive Will Trapp, and that's fine because he can pick a pass. He can
For
still
sure.
pass it.
Yeah.
So if you put him in the same spaces as Roldan is, and he can thread that ball 40 yards down the field, that's going to be wonderful. That's what Christian Triffer was supposed to be.
I
It's
think
a
if
useful
Ship-
role.
I think if expectations were managed, and maybe this is a theme overall, for Sounders. I think if expectations were managed on what players were here for what, I think we all came in to ship thinking about
His
Chicago
rookie
Fire
year.
ship.
His rookie year with the
Yeah,
Chicago
and
Fire.
like that's people's perception of him, whereas the reality is he's like scary dude that was on Montreal that you were like, oh shit, I'd like him on my team. And now he's on your team, and he's not what you thought of 5 years ago.
He might be the most tactically aware player on the team now.
Yeah. And that's what JJ has been saying in chat for months and months and months. He is not my favorite player on Sounders, but if that's his role, then okay.
We need to change his goal song, though. It's just boring.
Holy ship.
Yeah, that's boring.
You know what?
We need to do sticks.
I can't be bored with a Holy Ship song if it's only going to be sung once a year.
That's true.
Yeah.
But
What are goals?
it's not creative. It's
I would love to get bored with the Harry
that's
Ship
true.
Gold song.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because it means they were
I
scoring
still think it
goals
needs to
by
be.
Harry
I
Ship.
still think it needs to be sticks. Come sail away, come sail away with me. Yeah. If the entire group was singing "Come Sail Away with Me,"
Okay, one.
Adam is super fucking drunk.
and one drink, and this much.
Sail Away isn't by Styx.
That's Rush, isn't it?
No.
It's
no.
Enya.
No, it's not.
That's
come sail
also
away,
wrong.
Come sail away with me. Come sail
Yes.
away. That's Styx. Yeah.
I saw where Dave was going with
It's
this,
a bad
and it was
thing.
bad.
Which also has
Sail
But they
away
get, like,
in the
Sail
chorus.
Away.
Like abducted by aliens, and then they're singing. Yeah, that's Styx. That's Styx. I thought that there were angels. Yeah. They climbed aboard their starship. Yeah.
I'm just gonna watch the viewership plummet
Yeah,
while
right.
we sit
This is
here and
way
talk
outside
about.
my,
Down to 20.
Yeah.
went down to 20. We're having
Let's
a
get
good
into
week.
like Rush
We're at
cover
22.
bands next.
Styx.
You missed the joke because you had too many
Okay,
old
so the
fashions.
Sounders
You
play
got the
RSL.
second one.
We have no idea who's healthy. They could have as few as, without a new injury, they would have 18 healthy bodies this weekend.
So what if they roll up with just 11 players? Do you think they start 11 and just have no subs? How does that work? Do you start 7 or 8 and then just keep some
Our
people?
18
Do you start 8 and just keep some people on the bench? What happens?
Our
in that
18
situation?
include coach.
If they only have 7 healthy bodies, Jerry, Nestorov, Buckingham, Duff.
We've been talking about
Gonzo.
that, like the pregame.
All the
Put him out on the
floaties.
field.
Like they should do
Yes.
the
Are
pregame
gonna be on the
thing.
bench.
Somebody suggested this, the pregame thing where they have the thing in the net and you have to like hit the target. That
You're the
person
one.
makes
Whoever gets
the
close
18.
hits the goalpost. I love it. I
The
love
crossbar
it.
challenge kid.
Yeah.
That's
That kid definitely should
Yes.
not start.
Very much should start. They always make the goals. That kid should
Or,
probably do really well. Actually,
what's his name? The host that does Occidental Park in the event.
Oh, the
Oh,
hype man?
that does that.
Ken Carson.
Ken Carson.
No.
Ken Carson's the starting.
Yes. Put
forward.
Soundwave out there.
Yeah. Do you know who should start? Pino.
Yes.
Fishlock,
Yeah, right?
Jody Taylor.
Get Zakawani out there. He
Schmetzer's
can
like,
at least,
I guess I'll go in, guys.
This is what I'm saying. Coach, he knows the game.
Which coach?
Schmetz.
Oh,
I think that
He'd be amazing out there.
Pineda might be a little closer to the field than Schmetzer right now. And Schmetzer may be viewing right
can
now, so
We can
I'm
recruit some
sorry.
camera operators.
Wow.
last year, late
Sue, who
late
holds
in the
the
season,
parabolic mic, she'd be.
I saw it
fantastic.
easy, and I was like, it's so weird because like 8-9 years ago, you were the guy that was on the field filling in, like when they needed 11v11, but there were only 21 healthy
Yeah.
soccer players. Ezra was the guy that was out there, and now it's guys that you coached that are the coaches out there with Jimmy Traore and Gonzalo Pineda, and like, what do you do? And he goes, I certainly don't play. I'm too old for that now. And I'm like, wait, Ezra Hendrickson's too old for...
Ezra posted that he has a book coming out that's called I Am Legend.
Ezra Hendrickson has a book coming out called I Am Legend.
My phone died.
Is Will Smith the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will Smith gonna play the role?
Change my day drastically.
Oh, that doesn't. An NC-17 book
What?
by Ezra
Wait,
Hendrickson
what?
is going to be great.
I can't show you my whole
It's on
Wait, there's
Instagram.
book ratings?
I did not know
But
that.
how he teased it, like
Yeah.
Ezra's talking all
got it.
access.
Okay.
Okay.
By
And
the way, Champions League final, 11:45 a.m.
yeah,
We're going straight in.
the March to the
It'll
match
end
will
at
be
2.
spare that day.
We are all going to die.
Yeah, so it was just interesting to watch somebody who was like 1 year out of the league when he started coaching. Now he's like, I'm too old to be on the field. Like Chris Henderson used to fill in on those roles. And he
Yeah.
goes, like he'll run sometimes when they do like fitness work. He'll do that, but he's not out there. And I'm like, Chris Henderson is younger than I am.
Yeah.
Like I sometimes
We're
feel
on the
old,
air.
but then I remember Lickett exists.
Damn.
I can never forget that.
He's
Lickett
probably
exists.
watching.
The amount of haterade that just got dropped in the last 30 seconds, pretty high. But Ugo liked my tweet, so I'm
But
feeling
the
okay about it.
electrolytes.
Hey, so betting right now, which we should talk about, is 42% Real Madrid, 33% Liverpool, 25% draw. Like those people are playing for some added extra time.
I feel like
what?
Liverpool's going to win this game.
I have to tell you, I think it's a barn burner.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna
I
say
think
like
so, too.
5-3
Yeah.
Liverpool, maybe 5-4. Like as good as Real Madrid is, Liverpool's focused on this, and they've torched teams
And they have Mo.
you would not have thought they should waste.
Almost serene.
Like 5-3, 5-4 Liverpool.
There will be
I could
no
absolutely
defense.
see that. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Except then
Oh,
I
no, no,
remember
no.
that
We're
it's
just
the
running
Champions League
da-
final.
Yeah, which means
There are
a 1-1 in
players.
extra time.
There are players who happen to be defensive in title on the field.
But as we've learned, cup finals are boring.
almost
So
always.
you're going to say not 5-4?
I'll be right back, guys.
Bye, Adam.
Yeah. Cup finals are boring. We've learned that in Open Cup finals.
Lucky that Mark's
We've
not
learned that in MLS Cup finals.
World Cup finals.
World Cup finals.
True.
Cup finals are boring.
I have to tell you, I was in Paris for the Bayern Dortmund
Oh,
final.
Champions League final.
Yeah. And I had flown in that day, and I made the mistake of finding out that my bed in my Airbnb was comfortable.
So you slept through it?
No.
Oh.
And I had literally like made a plan to go to a particular bar on the left bank in Paris, and I was like, we're going to this bar. It's going to be great. And then I woke up about 10 minutes into the first half, took a shower, ran out of hot water in like 8 seconds because the hot water heater was it was about
European
this big.
Yeah.
And I'm not actually kidding. And then went to this bar, and then we were like, let's just say this was the inside of the bar. I was out by the cars 20 feet from here with this as a beer, which was warm because it was a English pub. And Bombardier, I believe, was the name of the place. And I'm just sitting there just hoisting brews in a street watching German teams play each other with random international citizens who all wanted to watch this game. And it was one of the cooler life experiences I've ever had. Like, of any life experience. It was just interesting to, like, be around people from literally all over the place watching a kind of random game. It was random. That was a good
fun.
final. It wasn't a great final. It
They're
was a
never
good
great
final.
They're just never. They never are.
But I don't know. Don't you think these
No.
like Liverpool
No.
just wants to come in and fuck them up? Legit though. Like Jurgen Klopp does not care about anything. He's like, meh, it's Real Madrid, whatevs.
I think neither of them have good defenses. So which
5-4. Like,
Neither of them have good defenses, which means they're both going to pull way back because they don't want to lose.
like 5-4, 4 Ronaldo penalties.
I'll take the under.
I'll take the under. Okay, we'll take that.
We'll come clear at halftime. One of us is buying the other one, boundary-based Scotch ale.
That's fine. I'm not drinking
Where?
beer right now, so I'll buy it for you anyway. What? Not having carbs.
Oh, that's right. We already had that discussion.
Anywho,
We're going to talk about
So-
soccer?
We're just talking about soccer.
what's
Is
soccer?
about gambling
Liverpool
on
and
soccer.
Real Madrid, are they not soccer?
We need to talk about gambling.
gambling.
What are you giggling about right now?
Oh, that wasn't a gill.
That was a wrong windpipe.
All that I had
sorry.
left was salt. That's saltier than the ocean.
Jerry
What are you
called
drinking?
that beer backwash beer. That's nasty.
Which beer?
What beer is the bet that we just talked about?
What?
He was talking about that beer?
He said
I'm gonna
you
kick him in the
wouldn't
nuts.
want that backwash beer anyways. That's nasty.
Seems like
Dave Clark, Jerry Neal,
Are you sure?
At the
steel cage match,
Context.
I think he was
Temple Billiards.
I think he was
sure he
talking
wasn't
about
talking
the
about
English.
Max's-
No, he was talking about the warm English beer that you had on the street of Paris.
Damn it, Jerry! You fucked up my story. Anyway,
Wait.
was
I
actually
think
very
he was
good
talking
beer.
about Max drinking Mark's beer.
could have been. Anyway,
Kira doesn't know.
you could just let my story go. It would have been more interesting.
Gary? Speaking of Parks
You
and
are
Rec.
never getting home.
Speaking of Parks and Rec.
You are literally never getting home. So, do we want to talk more about Sounders or more about
No, we were talking about gambling.
gambling?
What's with all this cotton stuff?
I like that Mickey just nods
Yeah. Well, I was trying to think. There's not much information at the moment.
about gambling.
Well, about how MLS at least is going to handle it.
I mean, they're gonna not do anything because you can do whatever you want. Like, it's sports betting.
Yeah.
At some point, states are gonna be like, open season.
Well, I think New Jersey at least is the first. I think there's this coming up in like a week.
Yep. Bill Bradley is pissed.
Oh, really?
He's pissed. His quotes, he sounds super annoyed, but he probably will make money on the deal.
Yeah. So I don't know. So the legislatures are going to come in and do a bunch of stuff.
You're fine.
Wait, so
The
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say the legislatures will come in and do some regulation. I know MLS wants to get some money out of the whole thing. Integrity fees is what they're calling it.
Which is the thing the NFL is.
Although I've heard
Other
that
sports have
NFL is
used-
not going to do that. At least from what I heard, NFL is not interested in integrity fees. quote
What are
unquote.
integrity fees? What? How
I'm
does
not
that,
a.
It's
100%.
you're paying us not to cheat.
Yeah, basically. So
It's like a
we could have some
dowry,
internal-
except for sports betting. Just let it go.
It's
Here's a goat.
essentially a tax that the league
Dowries.
levies on the sports book.
It's like a rake.
Okay.
They're going to
It
get
is like a rake.
a
It is like a
tiny
rake.
percentage as the second house, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
They're going to take $1 out of
the
every
house is going
10
to get
or
some,
something.
and
So
the league is going to
I'm,
get
I'm,
some.
I'm extremely unfamiliar with sports betting.
Really?
So yes. Does that surprise you? So you're saying that if I wanted to place a bet at Joe Schmo's House of Gambling,
on a sporting event.
They
That
have
actually
to-
is probably a real place.
I know in the right.
Yeah.
So they have to say, okay, we're going to do NBA, we're going to do NFL, we're going to do Major League Baseball, MLB.
How confused do you want to be right
Hold
now?
on, just time out. And in order for them
8
to
out
do
of 10.
those 3 leagues, they have to give some kind of license fee to the leagues to gamble.
That is a possible solution.
Yes.
Okay, that was my.
Yes.
So I, as
Currently,
a
no.
house of gambling, I can't just say I want to do all of the sports, including rugby and cornhole, whatever.
Which is popular on ESPN.
I know
right
it's
now.
Cornhole betting?
ESPN Plus has it.
Mickey will interrupt me because I'm probably going to be a little bit too layman's terms on this, but the ruling essentially means that every state can come up with its own gambling policy on
Right,
sports.
right.
The federal government could as well, but the ruling was basically that the government can't say gambling is banned,
Except-
and then impose that on the states to say enforce our ban on gambling.
Yeah.
But Major League Baseball, can Major League Baseball say you actually can't gamble using Major League Baseball, our copyright names, without paying a license fee or
That
something like that?
is a excellent question, and I think the reason that the integrity fees will be agreed to is because the sports books will want to use those licenses to promote the gambling. I don't think they necessarily need the approval, but they're going to want it
Okay.
to publicize or
Got it.
promote the
Got it.
gambling.
And to make lawyers a little bit less money.
Right.
Because anytime you get into intellectual property rights,
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. That's where it gets
those types of
complicated.
suits can, particularly for sports data, can wind up very long with
Yeah.
no result,
Totally.
no definitive result coming about. Like, there's currently a significant case going on about whether or not fantasy sports are allowed to use the likeness of
Yeah.
teams, not even the players, but the teams.
Just like their logo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or even the colors, probably.
Is it
Right.
newsworthy or not to use the name of the team in the fantasy sports event? The fantasy sports say the data can't be copyrighted, and the team name is part of the data.
Yeah.
And then you get into intellectual property sucks.
Yeah.
I stay far away
yeah.
from it.
That's
No,
why
I-
we played no music
Yeah.
on SonarFeed
Right.
ever.
No, yes.
We did one time, and we got a copyright.
Yeah.
Oh, did you really? Oh, my
Yep.
God.
So I'm not going to tell too many details. There was once where I had a client who I was doing an event for, and they had walkout music, very similar to baseball, wrestling, whatever, where they wanted to pick a pop song for whoever was walking out. And so we streamed that, and they're like, "We'll just go with whatever, and if something happens, something happens." And we got hit with my company got hit with a $10,000 lawsuit for playing a few seconds, like 5 seconds of "Don't Fear the Reaper."
Yeah.
And the company who hired us covered everything, but it was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, intellectual property is no joke.
Yeah, you do not want to be using unauthorized songs because they have been going
And
up
it was,
ever
it
since
was, it
the
was
days
just
of
stuff that was being
Napster.
played in
Yeah.
Background,
in the
not
arena,
intentionally,
whatever.
not
It wasn't an
Intentionally
arena.
streamed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's no joke.
Yeah.
Do not mess with it.
Okay. So anyway, yeah. So you're saying that if I wanted to open a house of gambling and have MLS has to cover my ass.
No.
Doesn't have to,
No.
but to cover my ass, I probably should.
it will vary by state,
Okay.
Yes.
and integrity fees are one of the ways that they will find as a solution.
Got it.
Correct.
Do you think Washington's going to have it?
I tend to think not at the outset because they've been pretty conservative on that kind of stuff, just based on some of the articles I read. And I can't remember who was saying it, but someone was saying that Washington is not the kind of state that has agreed to do that kind of stuff, and the tribes are going to try to. Yeah, the tribes are going to
I think
be
it's
the
only gonna
first
be-
line of defense on that.
in the casinos.
Probably. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because the
And-
state does not want to, like, the moment that gambling, other than the lottery, comes off of the various casinos and reservation lands, it changes the entire
We had-
dynamic of gambling in the state of
Washington has a weird history with like card rooms for gambling
Yeah.
that were on non-reservations.
Yeah.
Slot machines on
Yeah.
non-reservations are interesting because they're actually electronic lottery or scratch
yeah.
ticket machines. They're not.
They're not. Yeah, they're
They're
not.
not slot machines. You're not allowed to. Pulling a lever is
Is a
actually
different thing.
illegal
Yeah.
in Washington. You can't have
You're
a lever
just
pull
pushing a button.
slot machine.
Well,
here.
just like the pull tabs. It's basically a pull tab, an electronic pull tab.
Yeah.
They're much more like that, or an electronic scratch ticket.
Yeah.
They also have a maximum that they're allowed to pay out within a given period of time, no matter what the random number hits.
Right.
If they've paid out that much, they basically get shut down for the day.
It's
So
interesting.
we
to
have
me-
some weird. It's funny because oftentimes gambling's seen as a progressive take.
It
But-
isn't. It isn't.
Out here, we are very anti.
Yeah.
Our state has a legacy of anti-gambling.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
to it.
it's conservatives and liberals basically coming together for different reasons. to basically prohibit the entire practice. At this point, it's a weird mix. It doesn't exist.
I sometimes at
elsewhere.
night will listen to TalkSport, the streaming on the radio, so from the UK, and
They love their
their-
gambling.
It's their morning
Yeah,
show.
they have like
when we're
you
going
can
to
walk
sleep.
into 7-Eleven.
Well, no. So they were actually talking about this specific announcement the other day and this ruling, and they were saying, oh, this is really interesting because it's going to open up certain things a little bit differently there, but they recognized that money, like digital money, online money, was going to flow back to the U.S. from people that were spending it online at the various, I don't know, what is it, 70% of the top 4 English leagues, the teams are sponsored in some way
Oh yeah,
or
Bet
another
325
for the betting things,
Yeah.
but
They have betting windows in stadium.
like
Which is
they
the
are
other thing I was just
expecting
gonna
the
talk about,
money
yeah.
to actually disappear from digitally making its way in their direction
Because in
and
the States
staying
we
here in
can
the
now-
US, and that now that there's books that you're going to be able to go to in your states. Again, this is pure speculation on talk radio on a morning show, but it was interesting
British
to hear.
Talk Radio.
This is why it'll be wrong. Because the people that gamble don't have a limit as to how much they gamble. Because it's an addictive behavior. The people that gamble, that have been gambling on British stuff, will continue to gamble on the British stuff and now also gamble on the American
Well,
stuff.
I think their perspective was more that
the money's not going to
odds-
dry up. It's
no,
going to increase.
they're saying odds are going to change because where the money is and where the money is coming from is going to be altered. That people are going to see opportunities to bet on different teams in different sports in different places, and they felt like odds overall would swing around, and that it ends up becoming a little bit more of like a global market for betting than it is right now.
Here's an interesting example that I heard is there's a sports book in Hong Kong. It moves about $100 billion a year. To put that into the American perspective, these sports books in Vegas move about 4.
Sounds
Yeah.
about right. Sounds about right.
Sports betting's already a global phenomenon. It just hasn't really
Yeah, it's not that it
applied
wasn't global. I think they're just expecting
There are 9 other
things
books
to move
in Hong
around
Kong.
a little bit.
Yeah, I mean the issue is going to be
all of
ultimately-
Vegas
Yeah.
is 4% of a single Hong Kong book.
Right.
Yeah, the issue is going to be the banks being able to process, winnings and being able to pull your money out.
I mean, that's part of why
Yeah.
the marijuana industry has been
Yeah.
restricted is because
Yeah, the banks don't touch.
banks don't want to deal. Most banks and most insurance companies still don't want to deal with the marijuana industry, so they're at this weird.
Thanks, Jeff
Yeah.
Sessions.
They can't grow. Well, it happened under the last administration too. The banks, because
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
they can't have that account can't be FDIC or NCIC insured.
Yeah, yeah. You
So-
walk into a whatever dispensary, and you pay with a card, and they add an ATM fee to
Yeah.
it because they're running it as an ATM.
Yeah,
transaction.
so it's going to take several years for this Supreme Court decision to settle out, and we are going to be one of the last states
I would agree.
to follow. It will not be.
It's not going to be the marijuana situation.
No,
Yeah.
we aren't going to be a leader on this one. It's going to be more like the state-run liquor stores where we were the
You don't
last
think
one,
there'll
and
be
we
an
finally
initi-
made
an
Costco a lot of
initiative
money.
that shows up
Yeah.
in the next couple of years.
Oh, there'll be an initiative.
Most likely.
Actually,
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
actually expect it.
I would say, just
Our
thinking
law,
maybe in this.
you know what? The
year-
way that it happens fastest in our state will be through the initiative or
Yeah.
referendum
Yeah.
process.
It's not going to be 18, but 19. I would expect an initiative.
But we're gonna act slower than most of the other states on it. Like
Yeah, they're going to have to be dragged into
Jersey, New York, Connecticut,
Yeah.
those will all be fast because of Jersey basically brought the suit up.
Yeah.
Because Atlantic City used to have the exception to policy, and then Trump killed Atlantic City.
Wah, wah, wah.
Connecticut has
no
a
disagreement from me.
huge amount of gambling
It's
already
insane.
because Mohegan Sun.
Mohegan Sun,
Yeah.
yeah.
Heck, they host sporting. The WNBA
Yeah, they
plays
passed the
In the casino.
casino.
Like,
Wait,
and
what?
it's one of the Connecticut Sun.
Which was the Soul.
They're a
Miami
WNBA team.
They play in the casino.
They are wholly owned by the tribe. They play in the casino in a 10,000 seat stadium inside the casino.
It's,
fucking awesome.
by the way, beautiful.
That is.
Yeah. By the way, you can play War in Connecticut, and War is my, like, you have $8 in your pocket on the way out of the casino, and you can, there's a table, and you're like, $1 War? I am in! And it is
Like the only funny scene out of Vegas
the
Vacation.
worst thing ever.
Wow.
So, anyway, we're running a little hot. It's about 10 after 9.
There's no karaoke. We're outside.
There's no
There is
karaoke
karaoke.
yet, and it's
We're
not awful
outside.
yet. We are outside. So we'll have no show next week. We'll be back 2 weeks from now. So next weekend, Memorial Day. That happened really fast. May is just gone,
Yeah, right?
right? So next
Thank you,
Monday
Justin Timberlake.
is
Is he responsible for that?
I'm finish your old fashioned. Don't actually do
I
that.
brought it later.
Anyway, so next weekend we will not be here on Monday. We'll be back 2 weeks out in June.
June.
Ooh, the June shows. Those 2 June shows, we can talk World Cup since the Sounders
It's going to
won't
be
we're talking
good
about.
times. What do we figure out? Games are 5, 8, and 11.
Yeah.
Those are
5,
like
8, and 11
Those are the
a.m.
core times, but there are some weirds that are offset. There's
Yeah.
a 3 a.m., a 9, and a noon.
Cool.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
will not be any time that is going on during this show. We discovered.
We should do a 3 a.m. show here.
No?
You know what's not going to happen?
That's...
Anyway, we'll do it.
Unless Egypt makes it, and then...
And then we are in.
And if
Yeah.
Mo Salah is in the final, I'll be here at 3 a.m.
All right. Anyway, 2 weeks out, we'll be back.
Yes.
You now have to put up with Mickey in the rotation.
That is correct.
You'll
Of
see
hosts
Mickey
on the
as
show.
basically as often as me. Often
Yes.
not with me.
Yes.
So,
Not because we don't hate each other.
so we're going to
because we both have more important
juggle
things to do. I mean, listen to SonarFeed.
Mickey, Dave, Ugo, Adam, Tom, Mark, probably Max Aquino because that dude shows up all the time.
I show up, but I'm not on very often.
That's because you don't have a mic, but you talk constantly.
That's true.
So the thing about Max is he has so much to talk about that is unique because of his experience on the field, doing photography, watching these players.
Max
in
is
a-
working on like 4 stories for Sounder
Right.
at Heart right now.
Probably right
Well,
now.
I mean, we all experience the game from a fan perspective, and Max literally experiences it from the player's perspective as a photographer.
Well, not literally.
Well, no, not literally. Figuratively.
You know what? Give Max a little bit of credit, Dave Clark.
He watches.
I saw him miss the goal after that pass. So I guess it is literally like.
Do you guys
Sounders
want to
doing
come
it.
to the show when Max and Dave just beat the shit out of each other for like 45 minutes?
Aaron and I never went to blows, so I doubt Max and I will.
There is still time, dude. Aaron is, I think, still on anniversary travel. We could get him back to go at it.
But if anybody does want to come on, let us know. We'll make it happen.
At us.
At us. At Dave.
Don't at Dave.
At better than.
At me, that's fine.
So
Michael.
we're back 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks.
Quick round the horn Saturday, 2 p.m. Sounders versus RSL. Dave doesn't make predictions, but what do you got?
2-2.
Is that 2-2 last minute header by someone who's 5 feet tall?
Xiao Plata.
Because that's been the call by literally everyone I've talked to.
Header on a corner.
94th minute header.
Seattle couldn't be set up better to defend the situation, and he still gets free.
So 2-2, Dave. Mickey.
I'm going to go 1-0 Sounders.
Adam.
102 to 111.
What?
3-1 Sounders.
Stop buying out of 3.
3-1 Sounders. We're out. Thank you for joining us.
PA score.
Thank you, everyone, for coming here to the Berliner.
I researched it.
You are super drunk. Ship it.
The curve.
Thanks, Berliner.
We love you.